Oh, thank you very much, Chima. And welcome. Thank you for joining us. Yeah, great. I'm really happy about that. So now I know exactly what to do for next time. Oh my goodness. There's always a learning curve to everything. Okay, so Kenneth, I do hope you heard most of the thing, even though the volume was low. So what I was actually saying, just to summarize it, in case you couldn't hear it, is it depends on the reason why you're needing a guarantor. If it's regards to the pay, or you being able to pay for the accommodation, even though you can pay it, if your income based on what you show them you earn doesn't meet up the threshold, they will assume you can't pay, and they need someone to they can hold responsible if you can't pay. So if that's the case, then the thing to do is to earn more money to meet up the threshold. If it's because you haven't really rented in the UK and the landlord is quite they are not very comfortable renting, giving out the apartment, then maybe go for a house share in the first instance. And then after a while, when you've got some a solid reference, then you can go for your own apartment, and you should be good to go. Okay, I hope that answers the question. If you need any more, just let me know, and then I'll try and shed more light on that. Okay, so let's see another question. Oh, thank you very much for confirming the volume. Oh, and then another thing I would like to touch upon is, I think on my channel, I know that most of my subscribers they are people who are coming in either for work or students. So I know most of my subscribers are coming in through that route to the UK. Okay, so the other question I like to address, which someone asked in my comment section as well, was about also about this was about working in Scotland, but this time working as a teacher. And I get a few comments like that when I make some videos, and people are asking, would I be able to come in and work with regards to my experience in my home country? Honestly, my short answer, if anyone is wondering that as well, is to even before you come into the country, just really focus on going to that. I've shared this website a couple of times, shortage occupation list. So if you can go there and make sure that whatever course you're coming in to study, if you're coming in to study and you're hoping that you would be able to stay, make sure that your course is something that the skill you would gain or your qualification is actually needed in the country. That is your best chance to be able to stay. Now, if it's about your experience in your own home country, I'm wondering if it applies. For a lot of fields, you might need some form of top up or some qualification here or there or some registration. For example, someone asked me about teaching, and you would have to register with the teaching council, especially in Scotland. You would have to register with the General Teaching Council, and that would require some form of recertification. So just bear all of that in mind. It's very unlikely that experiences will transfer like for like. Okay, so Kede says it's my first time to rent. I'm a new student for the September intake. Myself and my friend are due in the UK by next week, and we're seeking a two-bedroom apartment as we can't share. So, Kenneth, did you actually, what I'd say is, why don't you go for an Airbnb, and then when you're in the country, you can look for the two-bedroom apartment. The reason being, it's really rare to actually get an apartment that is not like Airbnb or even a house share. It's really rare to get that when you're still outside of the country. So I'd say get an Airbnb, perhaps even go for a house share, because really you're looking to get a reference from a landlord you've rented that can someone that can vouch that yes, you are who you are, or you will take up the apartment and you're okay and you can be trusted to be given this place. When you're outside of the UK, most people are not that confident that they can vouch for you and you're who you say you are. They can give you their apartment and you would also pay them their money. So because of that, it's really difficult. So if you can get an Airbnb, that would be your best chance. So if you get that, and then also maybe look towards a house share. Okay, Chinwe says, please, the Amber student housing, can a spouse who is a student move in with a dependent? Unfortunately, the answer is no. And the reason is, when in this part of the world, when you rent a place, or when you actually hire an accommodation, they ask you how many people are going to be living here. So for example, if it's you and a spouse, both of you need to be on the lease agreement as the two people who will be living there, and then both of you would get a key to the apartment. You will have equal right to the apartment. Now, in the student accommodation, you will be the only one on the lease agreement, which means your partner can come there and stay, but they can come and visit, but they can't stay because they are not on the lease agreement, and I don't think they would agree to put them on the lease agreement either. So the answer is no. So can one settle permanently in Scotland after studies? Yeah, Sheung, I touched upon this a little bit earlier, where I said, depend before you actually even apply for a course, before you apply for a course and start and make all the preparation. Honestly, do a search as to the course you are hoping to study. If you want to stay in the UK, you need to do this search. Go to the shortage occupation list. Your best chance of staying is that the job or the course you're studying is something that is required in the country. So, which means when you finish, there will be a lot of people who are looking for someone that have your knowledge and your qualification, and they are looking to hire you. And if they hire you, because they are desperate, the reason why they're on the shortage occupation list in the first place is because they can't find people within the UK to do the job which they're hiring you for. So if that is the case, there is a very high chance they will sponsor you. If they sponsor you, then that's you. You will be able to stay, and you can follow the process of applying for indefinite leave to remain and all of that. But it really starts with what you're coming here to study. You need That is a research one needs to do before you even pay for any school fees, find a course and make all the preparation to come in here. Please do not do that blindly and just hope that it will work out, because if you study something that there is no demand for it in the country, then chances are you won't even find a job in that field, let alone find someone who is able to sponsor you. Because for them to sponsor you, most times they have to show that they can't find someone to do the job you're doing, someone in the UK already who is a citizen who can do the job you're going to be doing. So please do that search before you, if you're hoping to stay. Okay, thank you for that. You're welcome. Oh, Pikachu, no, I don't watch anime. I don't even really know what that is. Oh, Sheung, you're welcome. Okay, let's see if there is. Okay. Okay, so another question from Kenneth. How can one get to Aberdeen from London Heathrow Airport by road? But to Aberdeen. Oh, from London Heathrow Airport. Right. Um, why don't you take the train instead? You can take the train, and I think the train might be easier. But if you are looking to take the bus, then all you have to do is, if you can go on, I think, just give me a moment. Let me make sure that it's called transport. Oh, right. Okay, I can see why you might want to go. You might want to go on the bus. Okay, let's see if you do. Okay, so can you that's Jewel, please. All right. So if you really want to go by bus, then can you go to a bus bud? So I'll type that in the public chat, say bus bud, or you can go to www.busbud and you can follow the instruction to book a bus. I can see it's a lot cheaper than going by train. But if you can also go to ScotRail, scotrail.gov. That's another way where you can go also to look for train. But yeah, you can go to that website and then you can follow the instruction to on how to book a bus. Okay, let's see. So Shemu Bello said, what are the chances of getting a care home job in Scotland, Aberdeen, Glasgow, Edinburgh? Okay, so the chances is very great. It's high. So that is not even a question. As long as you're in the country already. Now, the thing, if you've come in as a student, there is no question of whether you can or not. In fact, some of them, when they interview you, they probably tell you to start the next day. That's how desperate they are. So yes, the chances are very high as long as you're in the country. But like I said, do plan for a couple of weeks, maybe 2 weeks or so, whereby you would definitely need to do a pass a PVG um, uh, uh, test, not test. It's called police check protection of vulnerable groups, because you'll be working with people who are vulnerable. So just plan for about 2 weeks for that check to come back. and you'll be good to go. But as far as getting a job in the field, yes, it's very high. If it's for care work. Oh, and then Sheon said, as a student with dependent wife, whether even if you're the student or you are the one that is the dependent, the answer is yes. The chances are very high. Care job, they are desperately in need of people. So yes, you would just, as long as you're within the country, do not worry about looking when you're trying to get it from outside or something. Once you come in, you probably get the job the same day or something like that. So yeah. Please, would a guarantor have to come from a particular area to function as a guarantor, or any person eligible as a guarantor in the UK can stand in for a person in any part of the UK as regards? Yes, so the guarantor, because it's something I personally experienced. So the guarantor, most landlords will be looking that the guarantor is a citizen or someone who is settled here. And then the guarantor has to be willing to show that they earn a certain amount of money for them to just they need to be willing to provide whatever paperwork the landlord is looking for. So yes, they, and I don't, as long as they are within the UK, I don't think it matters, because when I had this experience, it was between people who lived in England and people and Scotland. So I don't think it matters where you live, as long as the person is living within the UK and they can provide whatever paperwork they're being asked of, then they are good to go. Ah, Olateju Boluwatife, welcome. How can someone understand Glaswegian accent? I still don't understand. So some of the accents are really clear. The ones that are closer to Edinburgh, yes, they are clear. But honestly, the accent from around Glasgow, I still don't understand. And sometimes don't worry about it, because it won't be only you. I can guarantee you that even people who are natives here, they struggle with some of the accents. I remember once I was working with some group of people in a school. Oh, and then the one of the ladies, she told me of someone who came to work in the department, and none of them could understand what the person was saying, and they are all from here. They are native Scots. So don't worry too much about it. It's just a matter of, if you're amongst the people and you listen to them say things over and over again, eventually it will click, and then you get to understand it more and more. So yeah, it's just be amongst the people and listen. So don't worry too much about it. The people won't take offense if you don't understand, because unless they are not exposed to know that not everyone is from the same place. So it's not it's something that would you will come around after a while. I still struggle. Okay. Okay, thanks once again, Ma. You're welcome. As for a dependent working unlimited hours, does it mean the person could work from morning till evening until he or she gets tired? Yes. If you're the dependent, you can work for, if you want to work 24 hours, it's really up to you. In fact, this is one of the biggest pros of UK student visa. If you have a dependent, if you're married, so your spouse is free to work however many hours. They're free to take up almost any job. I know in your visa it tells you what you can't, the jobs you can't take. I remember when I was on dependent visa, it said something like you can't do a dentist work. But other than that, yes, you can work for however many hours you want until you're tired. And believe me, a lot of people actually do that, and eventually you'll realize how many hours you can work in truth, and you stick to that. Yeah, but you can work however many hours you can. Okay, so we'll be rounding off in a couple of minutes. Okay, so that's what again for. Okay, thanks for answering me. You're welcome, Olateju. Still want to ask about the education system. I have an autistic 6 years that will be joining me in October. Can I claim any benefit on him? Unfortunately, if you're on a visa, your visa would say no recourse to public funds, and what that means is you are not entitled to public fund, and that's what benefit would be, unless you are if you're settled, if you have a settled status, or yes, say your husband has a settled status, or if it's a man, if your wife has a settled status, which means the child might have a settled status, then yes, you can claim benefit. But if not, as long as you're on a visitor's visa, not sorry, not visitor's visa doesn't really apply. As long as you're on a student visa, or a work visa, and you are still not settled, no, you cannot claim any benefit. Oh, Kenneth, you are welcome. Thank you very much for joining the session. Oh, and Olateju also asked, how soon can he get a school to enroll immediately he's around? Because I heard that school resumed. Yes, school resumed last week Tuesday. So as soon as you get in, just I think I addressed the how to register for school. It's really not difficult. If you go online and just type your council, what the council you're in, just type school registration form for your council, and if he pulls it up, then you can use the form and follow the registration process. But yes, you can come in. I don't know if most of you know this, but I do teach. I'm a teacher by profession, and students come in the middle, at the beginning, at the end. It doesn't really matter. Whenever the child comes in, every child it's illegal for the child not to go to school. So at whatever point they come in, you should find a school for them. Kenneth said, I have a guarantor now, so I was going to ask if you can help one secure an accommodation to the point of payment where I can then come in. Unfortunately, I'm not able to, and this is because, like I said, the agents, they won't, most of them won't really release their accommodation to someone who is not in the country. There was actually there was a time when I went back to Nigeria, or I moved back to Nigeria for a period of 5 months, and when I returned back to the UK, I had to stay in a hotel to look for permanent accommodation. That's also because of the same thing I'm trying to explain. It's really difficult to get accommodation when you're outside. So what I'd say is just start the process once you're in the country, but it might be a lot of stress trying to find the accommodation whilst you're still outside, because chances are it's really not, it might not work out. So just find something that would work, which is the Airbnb, and then try to attack the accommodation thing as soon as you come in. With the guarantor on ground, when you're in the country, it should be easier for you to also get the accommodation. So, Chinwe, please, is it true that our Nigerian ATM cards for foreign currency transactions don't work over there? Unless something has changed, but before COVID, I am very much aware they worked. But I haven't tried that since after COVID, because I know Nigerian policies change from time to time. But before COVID, yes, it worked. That's MasterCard. If you have a MasterCard, I'm very sure MasterCard worked then. I'm not sure if it still works at this point. But it might be worth asking your bank. Ask your bank if it's possible to use your MasterCard over here. But then it's a really expensive thing to do, to use your MasterCard here. It's a really expensive thing. What I might say is, why don't you sign up for, so I know that BT, not GT, Guaranteed Trust Bank, have online banking services. You can sign, if you don't have online banking services, you can sign up for that. So once you come into the UK and you have secured accommodation and all of that, and you have your own UK bank account, you can do an online transfer for yourself. So if the ATM is not going to work, that's another way I would go. Oh, Kenneth, you're welcome. Kale, as Olateju asks, how soon can he get to a school to enroll immediately? Oh no, I've answered that. Okay. Yeah. Oh, and Olateju asked again, which neighborhood is best to live in Glasgow? There are lots of neighborhoods that are good to live in. It really depends on how much you're willing to spend and what is most important to you. So, but honestly, what I would say is go to, if you're coming in for work, use the address of wherever the area you're going, or if you don't mind, just if you're not going to any particular place, but I suppose you are, if you're going in for studies or for work, use the address of your workplace and go to scott.simt.scott. I'll type that in. Okay, and then with that you can see all the areas that you can actually look for accommodation in, and it will tell you things about the education, what the schools there are ranking. It will tell you what the healthcare service there is ranking, what the crime rate is, and with that you can make an informed decision. There are lots of places that you can actually rent that is good. Okay, and Aboderi, I don't believe I have seen a question from you before. So welcome. Thank you for joining this session. I do apologize for the sun. I close this in a bit. Okay, that is so much better. Okay, so hello Ma, I plan to resume in January 2023 with my wife and a 1-year-old. Please, do you know how we can go about getting a daycare? And I hope it's not very expensive. I was actually having this discussion with someone a few days ago. Luckily, in Scotland, getting a daycare is not a problem. There are lots of daycares and there are always openings. So all you have to do is, as long as you're in, once you've arrived in the country, you would probably be able to secure a daycare the next day, the next week. But maybe paperwork, just give it a week at least. But it's not a problem at all. Just Google wherever you are, daycare near me, and lots of options will come up. And as far as how much it is going to cost, if you're going to have the child in daycare for full time, which is roughly 10 hours every day, then you might be looking to pay around £1,000 per month. And the other thing to bear in mind is most of the daycares, they either do half day or you go for a full day. So you can't just decide I want my child to be in from 8 to 12, from 8 to maybe 3, because they will tell you that you can either have them from, I'm just giving an example though, 8 to 1. So they've got their own set times. So either you go for the full day or the half day. And depending on what you pay, just to give you a more clear example of what it would cost. Most daycares for a full day would you be looking to pay around £56, so between £50 and £56 per day, and that can give you an idea. But in terms of being one, it won't be difficult. There are lots of daycares. We don't have a problem where there is shortage of daycare here, thankfully. So inexorable, welcome. Thank you for joining us. What kind of jobs can foreign uni students with no experience get? How much per hour do they pay? Do go for care work. They are desperately looking for people, and as long as you are patient and you are kind and you can do the work, I think if you go for an interview, they probably ask you to start the next day or so. But again, like I know you didn't get the beginning. So give yourself at least about 2 weeks, because even though, oh, why is this misbehaving? So even though you might get the job almost as soon as you arrive, give yourself some time, because there will be some paperwork and you need to pass the police check. So give yourself some time to do all of that. But yes, care work is the one I know you can get very easily. There are lots of people are desperate to get people in that field. And also jobs in like cleaning, there you can find that easily as well, but not as easy as care work. Oh, and in terms of pay, a lot definitely above minimum wage. And the minimum wage now, top of my head, I can't remember, but I think from what I've seen, some of them they pay roughly around £9 or something like that per hour. And if you said you're a student, so you would only be able to work 20 hours per week, and so you can do the math and see how much you would get from that. And then out when schools are on holiday, you can work full time. Okay, Aboderin Olakunle, are there good IT job opportunities in Sterling or its neighborhood? I think there are good IT opportunities. The only thing like I said before, is a lot of a lot of people hiring in this part of the world. A lot of times they might be looking for you to have a UK experience. But I know IT is a little bit different. Sometimes people, they're more interested in what do you have the skill? If you have the skill, yes, we can hire you. There are job opportunities in IT. I'd say go online and look. But again, if you're outside of the UK, the question is, are these jobs going to bring you in, which means they are willing to sponsor you and all of that? That becomes a different matter altogether. But if you're within the UK, I think there are good IT jobs you can look for. Yeah. Okay, Chinwe. Oh, I see. Now I know why your sessions are great. I enjoy Menvic Studio and your beautiful appearance, so gentle and firm, my beautiful Oh, thank you very much. Very much appreciated. Thank you. Okay, so I'll give it 5 more minutes and then I would end this session. And that's also because at the beginning I spent a whole lot of time trying to set up the audio. But I'm glad it worked out in the end. Oh, and Elizabeth Asamoah, are there good nursing opportunities in Scotland? Yes, nursing is also one of the fields where I don't know if you've been following the news, but we are really desperate for in healthcare fields, nursing, healthcare, doctors, and all of that. Yeah, there are lots of opportunities, lots and lots of opportunities. So as long as you have the requirements, if you meet their hiring criteria, there are lots of opportunities. Yes. And Olateju, can someone shuttle between Glasgow and Edinburgh? Oh, yes, you can. You can, but it's a very expensive shuttling, and it would. If you ask me, I think unless it's once in a while sort of thing, then maybe you need to move to whichever place is the reason why you're shuttling. Whatever the reason is, move to the one that has that. Alternatively, live in between the two places. So you're not in Edinburgh, you're not in Glasgow. And I can think of, so if you're, at least if you're in one of the towns in North Lanarkshire, I think it will put you somewhere around the middle. So if you can Google North Lanarkshire, it will put you somewhere in the middle, so you can go this way or that way if you can't avoid it. But yeah, you definitely can. With the train, the fast train, you can it's not a long journey at all, but it's an expensive journey. Oh, you're welcome. Bolu Olateju, please do ask the questions that give it a few minutes. I'll do my best to answer. But you are really welcome. Oh, Lua Sheung, thank you very much for joining the session. I really enjoyed coming on here to share my one, is it, they call it 2 cents. Oh, I do apologize for that noise. That's my little girl. Ah, all right. Inexorable. What's a rough estimate for a young man's monthly cost of living in Glasgow? I think the first thing is your rent. It depends on where you live because the bulk of your earning will be taken up by rent. So, depending on where you live, rent, give or take, if it's a young man who wants to save a lot of money, maybe you live in a house share, so your rent will be really low. And then factor in your food. For food, I'd say if you're very conservative and you want to cook all of your own food, and then if you don't go out a lot, which means you don't have a lot of would I say, even if you're going out, you take like the bus, not trains or going out too far away. So it really depends. I can't give an exact amount. So what I can say is depending on where you live. So if you're living in a house share, so or and your rent is not that expensive, then maybe you might get away with under 1,000 for your expenses. But again, it really depends. It really depends. So how conservative can you be? So the scope is so wide that I can't give you a definite answer. What I will do is I'm going to make a video to share what a living expense might look like. So based on that, you can compare what your, so I'll give an estimate based on the sort of lifestyle that what the lifestyle would be like for that for the amount I'll be sharing in the video. So based on that, you can then make up your own estimate. But it's a very wide range that I can't give an exact amount. Oh, and Chinwe, are there accounting opportunities in Dundee? Accounting is one of those professions that, honestly speaking, I don't think there will be a lot of opportunities in it. But you can always look online to see if there are people hiring. But if you can, I'd say go for jobs that the country or the society you will be going into, they're actually looking for people to fill those roles. And people who are from here, as far as I know, many of them want to work in the office and sit down and do something on the computer. So chances are there'll be a lot of people who are natives running after those jobs. So it's not one of those jobs I'll say that there will be a lot of opportunities. Any guide to open a student bank account in Scotland from Nigeria? Oh, I answered that question again in my what to do immediately you come in. So what I'd say is you do have to come into the country to open a bank account. Unfortunately, Nigeria is not one of the countries that it's on the list that I've seen so far where you can actually open a bank account from your country, unless you are one of the top 1% who are doing investment, and it gets complicated. But as far as a student coming in, an average person, you do have to come into the UK to open the bank account, because you need a UK address, and you need they need to see your ID, and again you would have to most likely go into a branch to open it because they want to see you. Okay, and I think this will be the last one. Any last question? Okay. Unless you've got one more, then I would wait. How easy is it to get facilities management role as an international student? I'd say the chances are very slim, very slim to none. And the reason being, this will be one of the jobs. This is a management. It will be a management role. So even the entry role for that will be stiff competition, whereby a lot of people have UK experience, which you'll be competing against because you don't have. So I'd say just you can, like what I always do when I came in here, I know the job I wanted to get eventually. And I looked and then I made a plan. I want to get to this point. How do I get to this point? So if this is what you want to do, make the plan and you'll get it eventually. But don't be discouraged by coming in immediately and looking for it and hoping to get it. No, just make the plan, and there might be a few jobs you would do, and if maybe even a certification you might have to do to get you to the point where you become a facilities manager. But it won't be immediately you come in, and certainly not as a student, because these jobs, again, they'll be looking for you to be full time. And as a student, you can't guarantee them regular hours, neither can you give them full time. So I think most likely no. Okay, Shehu Oyadeji, can you tell us the best platforms that we can use for renting an apartment? Please go to what's it called? Zoopla. Okay, either Zoopla, or you can go to, what's the other one? Rightmove.co.uk. Both of them, they are really excellent. You can sign up and have an account there. It's free of charge. Just set up an alert on your criteria, and the apartments that fit your criteria would come into your email, and you can always check it out to get what you're looking for. Okay, thank you so much for your time and patience answering our questions. We appreciate it. Thank you all so much for joining. I've really enjoyed coming on here and sharing what I can. Thank you very much. So I am going to end the session just now. And if I didn't answer your question, you can maybe drop it in the comment section, and I might pick it up and maybe make a video on that, or I might just, if it's straightforward, I might just answer it. But thank you all very much for joining the platform today. Oh, sorry, Ola Teju, what's the question on immigration? I didn't get that. I really have lots. Okay, where's the immigration question? I didn't get that. Oh, I didn't get the immigration question. That is why I didn't answer, because I didn't get it. And I'm looking through now, and I still can't find it. Okay, can you send it again and see if it comes in? Then I'll quickly answer that, and then we can call it a day. Yeah, I'm looking through and I can't see it. Okay. After accounting opportunities asked by Wilcox. Wilcox, let's see, where is Wilcox? Yeah, it's still not here. Maybe just type it again. It's still not here. Oh, okay. So I've just seen it coming. How true is it that Scotland is also pushing for their immigration pathway like Austria? Pushing for their immigration pathway like Austria. I'm not sure I understand the question, but what I know is that Scotland wants to be independent from the rest of the UK, and they have been pushing it, and they are still pushing for to have a referendum where people would vote to leave the UK. And it's something that is a topic that people debate over, and some people are for it, some people are against it. Whether it will happen or not, I don't really know if it will happen. But yes, if that's what you're asking, Scotland is pushing to get to leave the UK, and if they leave the UK, they would have their own everything. It's like a different country entirely. They will have their own immigration rule like any other country. But I hope that is the question you're asking. Okay, you're welcome, Chinwe. But if you're asking about Scotland staying within the UK and pushing for their immigration pathway, I am not sure that I've never really actually heard that. Yeah. Okay. You were. I'm glad it answered it. Yeah. Okay. Thank you very much. I know I've said this so many times, so this is the last one. So thank you very much, and have a really lovely evening.